Hello, and welcome to the Gay Racing Podcast. Today we're making IndyCar predictions for the 2025 season. I'm Alex, alongside me is Zack, and we're also joined by Elizabeth Blackstock of Planet
Yay.
F1.
Hello.
Oh, there she is. Sorry. I clicked
Hi,
it twice.
everyone.
Sorry.
How about that music intro, by the way?
Dude,
That
that
was awesome.
ripped. That was intense. That got me hyped up.
I know.
Right? I'm ready.
All three of us equally are very excited for IndyCar. Definitely. Elizabeth and Alex, they have been, we're shouting this out anyways, right? You guys did a little episode on ATYL Media, Taylor Kitchen's great channel, and you guys got to talk about IndyCar there, when does that video come out?
It's going to come out at the exact same time this episode does, Zack.
Okay, so when you're done here, head over to ATYL. Check if you want more Alex and Elizabeth, of course.
Yes.
You know,
You
they're
do.
lovely people. So
We made
you guys
some,
are just
we
ready
made
to
some
talk about more
wishes over
IndyCar.
there. Made some wishes over there. We're going to make some predictions today. We're locking in. We were having
got
some
some
goofy
wishes.
fun, but now we're locking in. Like, this was
Can you
actually going to
give-
happen.
Wait, can you give me 3 wishes at the end of the episode? Since I didn't get to make wishes on your episode, I have 3
Aw.
wishes for
Sure.
IndyCar at the end
Yeah.
of the episode.
So
I'll
stick
write that
around
down.
and you can get Zach's wishes as well.
I have just personalized to me. Yeah.
But
You deserve
Elizabeth, go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience if they don't know who you are.
My name is Elizabeth Blackstock. I am the U.S. editor at planetf1.com. I am also the host of the Deadly Passions, Terrible Joys podcast, which is a podcast dedicated to all of the weird scandals and tragedies from motorsport history. I am the co-host of the Elizabeth and Ash Show, which is a live stream every Tuesday that becomes a podcast every Thursday. I have a lot of cats. I like race car.
Really?
That's me in a nutshell, I think.
You like race cars? What?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a
Just
little
a
bit.
little bit. So if you watched our NASCAR predictions episode, we're kind of going to start with the same kind of thing. We're going to do thumbs up, thumbs down. We're going to just talk about some drivers in new places for IndyCar this year.
There's a
We're gonna
lot of
just-
them.
Little soft launch here into this episode. So let's just get right into it. Christian Lundgaard, thumbs up, thumbs down, new at McLaren.
Oh, he's hard. I'm gonna put down. This is
I
for
don't think he'll
championship
win.
contender or race winner.
This
or
is
just
for a
kinda
race
both?
win.
Race win. Oh, yeah, still down. Which
I think he might compete for one. He has a win before,
Yeah.
but I'm a
McL-
no.
McLaren is just a Pato Award show. It's just traditionally, it doesn't really.
The other
I
guys
see
are
no
just
reason for
eye
it to change.
candy.
Yeah.
The other guys at McLaren are just eye candy. They're not really actually there
Quite
for
literally.
anything normal. They're just kind of add to the vibe.
Yeah, and the great
It's-
TikToks that McLaren makes.
Oh my god, yeah. Those are
It's-
good.
Yeah.
They are Zach Brown's Twinks of the Month.
They
And
are the most
they-
attractive racing team, I think, on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
Once they
in
got
terms
rid
of
of
driver
Alexander Rossi and his receding hairline, like they
Yes.
stepped up a notch. But I do have a soft spot for Rossi.
Yeah.
They are very.
We'll talk about
attractive.
him in a second, but I also want to talk about Nolan Siegel. Also kind of new to McLaren. He kind of came in mid-season. Do we think he'll get a win this year?
Girl, Nolan
No.
Siegel.
We got a
I
thumbs
guess-
up from Elizabeth.
I think he's gonna get like a crazy one where we're gonna have, in Nashville that first year when they like launched cars over
Oh,
each
yeah.
other, and then
I mean,
Marcus
I
Ericsson went on
guess.
and won anyway. I think that's gonna happen. It's gonna be Nolan Siegel, something crazy. 9 cars get wrecked at St. Pete. Maybe Nolan Siegel's just.
Oh, you think it's
there.
going to happen this weekend? Like,
Maybe probably not this weekend. I definitely think a road course or a street circuit. I think a street
Yeah.
circuit's
Yeah.
probably his best bet.
Detroit.
Ooh,
Detroit. That's the
Detroit.
one.
Yeah.
that crazy street course. Oh
Jot
my
that
God.
down. Nolan Siegel at Detroit. You heard it here first.
Seagulls do fly. I've never seen a seagull in Detroit before, but oh my God! I mean, I would love it. I love him just because of his name.
He's a cute
and
little boy.
He is a cute little boy. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
he's just a little.
I don't know if you saw. So Bob Pockers was doing interviews with all of the drivers, and he was asking them what they were reading over the off season. And Nolan Siegel was reading On Tyranny, like the definitive guide to how to avoid a fascist dictatorship. I was like,
Oh.
I did not know.
Okay.
the name,
I was-
sir.
I was not familiar with this game. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was like, all right, okay, you've ascended.
I mean, we have an extra spot on the podcast for him if you would like to join. I feel like he would fit
We
the
can talk
vibe.
about that. Yeah. Let's
Ooh.
talk
This
about
is
it.
why I like IndyCar. I feel safe at IndyCar. I really do. This is why we love IndyCar. Oh my god.
Well, let's keep going. Alexander Rossi is now at Ed Carpenter Racing. Do we think he's going to get a win this year?
No.
No.
IndyCar is very, and this is my answer for a lot of these drivers. IndyCar is, the status quo, I think, will kind of remain because, the car has not changed at all.
Yeah.
Teams have figured it out. The only thing that's changed is this hybrid system, which I don't know, didn't really seem to change much to me in terms of, the I guess the pecking order. Yeah, thank you. The pecking order. You F1 people, pecking order. Because that's exactly what I was trying to think of. But yeah, because so it's like if they haven't been doing anything, and especially Alexander Rossi going from McLaren to Ed Carpenter, I mean that's
Alexander
a
Rossi
downgrade.
couldn't win a race at McLaren, so I don't know how he's going to do that at Ed Carpenter because it's
Exactly
Ed Carpenter.
I will say, where do Alexander Rossi and Ed Carpenter Racing both shine? At the 500. They show up at the 500 traditionally, no matter what. Although I feel like ECR last year they were kind of
mid.
They didn't qualify well like they normally do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, did Renus VK make the Fast 12? Maybe he did. I don't remember. Or maybe that was just to get in the show. But he had that qualifying effort. So, but again, that's the only way I could see Rossi really even being in the conversation, which is not saying enough.
I agree with that 100%. I've had very high hopes for him, and I'm glad I got to see him win the 500 that one time. And from there, I was like, you've met your potential for me. I'm good. I chased that man over to Austria to watch him race in Formula 2. And so coming back to see him do the 500, I was like, all right, I'm good. I'm packing it up. I'm moving on. You do your thing. I'll do mine.
I'll be honest with Rossi. I feel like this is kind of a make or break kind of team for him. Mm-hmm. I don't think it'll be like this year if he doesn't get a good season that he's out or anything. But if in 2-3 years, if he's not really, really good, I don't see him being a full-time driver in IndyCar. He might become an Indy 500 only kind of person.
I feel like I see him investing in a team.
Oh.
With what money? Okay. Does he got money like that?
I don't know if he's got... Him and his wife had that really fancy wedding in New York City. And I feel like if you can get married in New York City, you have to have some amount of money.
I guess. That's my only concern.
Maybe not a ton. He's got an 18% share, but he's in there.
Maybe he'll do Amazing Race All-Stars and win it. And then that's how he'll do it.
Oh my God.
I'd watch.
Great. He couldn't bring Connor Daly back because Connor Daly was the one who really dragged that whole operation down.
Yep. That's right. Now let's talk about David Malukas. He's now at AJ Foyt Racing. Does he get a win this year?
AJ Foyt Racing. David Malukas?
No. I'm saying no. Elizabeth says no. Zach.
Well, girl, he can kind of eat at them ovals. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not. This is like a Carson Hocevar NASCAR situation. It's what if I had to bet money on if he's gonna win, I wouldn't feel comfortable saying yes, but I'll say yes.
Low stakes.
It could happen. It could probably happen. It'd
be Gateway.
Exactly, and AJ Foyt showed a lot of speed last year, and I think it's just enough for David to actually break the status quo and get a win. So
that'd be nice.
Why not? Why not? I like him. Why not? I'll throw him a bone.
Yeah. This next one is really interesting because it's from a brand new team from Prema, Callum Ilott. I'm saying yes.
What, girl? What? Why?
I
don't get it.
Fully delusional about Prema right now. I am 100% in on it. I know they don't have a charter. I know that they have not competed in a single thing. I'm still they're going to come out of the gate and they're going to crush it. I'm ignoring all of the previous evidence from previous teams that have recently come in and not done that well. I think Callum Ilott has it in him. I would like to see him do it.
See, I think Ilott might win a race that you said Nolan Siegel might win. something a little
Ooh.
crazy, but he's
Yep.
going to be like a low top 10 kind of guy that day. But he's going to just stay clean and win it. But I don't know if I have high expectations for Prema, but I definitely think they're going to be better than people expect just because of how highly recognized they are in Europe and everything. I think they're going to be taking this really seriously and be competitive, at
They
least
know
for
how
like
to
a
race
top
an
10,
open
top
wheel
15.
car, which is good, and they know how to put a team together. And I feel like, no shade to IndyCar, but where it compares on like the professionalism of the Formula One feeder system ladder it's like very down there. So I think like they're gonna come here and they're gonna just like be organized enough that they're gonna be so much better than we expect. And I could absolutely see them taking the win. I would like it because I'm fully on that train and I don't know why.
I see what you're saying there.
Yeah.
The only issue, like I could see them getting top 10s and top 5s.
Yeah.
I just breaking through that Penske Ganassi and I guess even Andretti stronghold that they're going to
it's not
have
easy.
on the lead of the races. That's going to be the hard part.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they're definitely, they know what they're doing.
The guys.
They're the guys. They're the guys you got to beat. So,
And we have a comment from our first Patreon comment. This is from Avery. He says Robert Schwartzman, teammate to Callum Ilott, is going to win Rookie of the Year.
I can see that.
who else is in
could see that.
contention?
Robert, Louis Foster,
And Jacob Abel.
Yeah, I could see Robert. I don't know a lot about any of these guys because Robert Schwartzman was in F2 for how many years? Like
quite a few.
Years?
Yeah.
So
he tested with Sauber and Ferrari maybe last year as well in F1. I know he was with Sauber in Mexico because I got to interview him, and he was very excited to tell everyone that he was signed to IndyCar and with Prema, but he couldn't tell anyone. So I was asking him about it, and he was like, "You just have to wait. You just have to wait."
You just have to wait. Oh my god. Well, that's cool. I'm surprised you guys have high hopes for Prema because I don't know too much about the team.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that they were in the F1 ladder system. So you guys have high expectations. Okay.
I hope I'm not disappointed.
Yeah.
It's 50-50.
See, Zach, in our NASCAR predictions episode, we're like, well, someone's got to run in the back. It very well could be them, but I feel like Rahal.
We got Rahal, we got Dale Coyne, we got Juncos.
Yeah.
Like we have
whoever
options.
Connor Daly is driving for.
Juncos.
I feel like
he's still there.
I feel like Prema could at least run midfield in their
Yes.
debut season.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll see if they have any growing pains though.
This one's really interesting. Marcus Armstrong leaving Ganassi, now at Meyer Shank Racing. Do we think he gets a win? I'm still going no.
I'm gonna go no.
We're all no.
Yeah. He's like I don't know. He reminds me of like an Alex Bowman from NASCAR. He's just like, he is going to be there. He might win a race every now and then, but he hasn't done that yet. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, well, he had second at Detroit last year. I remember that. That was a really good result. But, he was with Ganassi. Like, you better be finishing up front if you're in a Ganassi car. So I don't know. It's hard to have high hopes for them. Meyer Shank, they did not have how was their year last year? Because Felix Rosenquist was pretty fast, wasn't he?
Felix was strong at the start. He was pretty high up in points at the start of the season, but then kind of fell off a bit.
That doesn't. Okay, then that really doesn't look good coming into the season, right? And then the 66 car situation that they had last year. So that I don't know. And Meyer Shank, they're focused on IMSA now too again this year. So I don't know how many resources they took out of the IndyCar program. So I don't know. I feel comfortable saying no. There's just no reason to think it's going to be a yes.
Sorry, Marcus.
Yeah.
Sorry, I like him.
He seems nice.
So. This is not a win. Will Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan show improvement?
This is the legacy question from the NASCAR predictions. Well, we got Graham Rahal, Louis Foster, and Devlin DeFrancesco, who somehow got back into the... Good Lord have mercy.
I'm staying in the middle. They might have slight improvement.
Well, they're getting worse. There's no way.
What are your thoughts? How do you think Devlin DeFrancesco is going to do? Because my husband wants to ask you this question, and he told me to ask you. How do you think Devlin DeFrancesco is going to do at Rahal?
Not as good as Lundgaard.
That's the thing.
Lundgaard was the shining star of this team.
They're getting worse because they lost Lundgaard.
Yeah.
and they have literally it's just Rahal. I mean, I don't know much about Louis Foster, to be fair. I don't know if he's. I'm not familiar with his game, so I don't know what. Does he come from the Road to Indy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Jacob Abel and Louis Foster are both from Road to Indy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I figured. Yep. Okay.
I don't have any expectations for Foster, but DeFrancesco,
none.
I have expectations for him, and they're not very good. I've seen this before.
There are other drivers I would have given that right to. Several drivers.
Am I one of them?
Yes.
I can drive an IndyCar. No, I can't. I've done it in iRacing once. I'm like, girl, I'm gonna stick to the ovals. This road course stuff is hard.
I got to try
the
360 simulator last year that Honda has. Oh my god, that was so much harder than I thought it was going to be.
Was it like a motion simulator? Like,
Oh, it's
girl,
the official one, like that they put the drivers in to practice with.
Yeah.
And so they were like, go do Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And I was like, this is the most terrifying thing because when you spin, like it doesn't spin you the whole way around.
Right.
But like it's so jarring because it's like the wheel spins out of your hand. And I was like, I'm not cut out for this. I've never been the delusional kind of person where I was like, I don't have the competitive spirit in me. I could not be a race car driver, but that firmly confirmed to me that no, this is never going to be a career path you could ever go down.
Yeah. You could not strap me in a race car. I'm too afraid to wreck it, and die. It just, I'm not a Ryan Preece where I'm like, well, racing is the most important thing in my life. No, I'm not that guy. Sorry. Anyways, and then, off topic, but that was funny.
Alongside RLL in the back of the field is Dale Coyne Racing, and a Patreon member, Lilith, says Dale Coyne is going to win a race this year. That is Lilith's bold prediction. Again, their team, Dale Coyne, is Renus VK and Jacob Abel. Their last win as a team was in 2018 with Sebastian Bourdais.
Girl,
I can see Renus VK pulling out some magic, but I feel like it really has to...
No.
Stop,
Elizabeth. No. What magic? What? This isn't NASCAR. We throw cautions and rack them up again, and they got it's so hard to win an IndyCar race. And there's only 17 of them. There's just no way.
Unless it's is gonna win it thermal. That's my prediction.
I smell that. We get an Indy 500 this year. That's the reverse of last year where we get a lot of cautions at the end of the race. And then maybe there's a certain fuel strategy and maybe Dale Coyne plays it right. Sure, maybe. That I could see that. But
that'd be interesting.
Renus VK knows how to, qualify at the Indy 500. Like he's got a skill. He's not dead weight. So I respect him. But
let's see.
Yeah, I would say my problem with VK is he had okay performances at Carpenter, and it looked like he probably should have won the Indy road course a couple of times. He's been competitive at the 500, but outside of Indianapolis, was never too impressed with him.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't expect Jacob Abel to win, period. Same kind of thing with Foster. I have no expectations for him.
Right.
But I'd be shocked, but I appreciate the bold prediction, Lilith. That's definitely bold.
One.
Yeah.
Now we talked about race wins, but there's the race win, the Indianapolis 500. Joseph Newgarden is going for 3 Indianapolis 500s in a row. That's never been done before.
That's crazy. The history of this race, over 100 years, and it's never happened.
That's insane to me.
Has that happened in the Daytona 500? I'm pretty sure it's happened. I feel like Richard Petty did it once, right? I don't know. I feel like there's all these big races. F1 championships, obviously, been won consecutive many, many times. Le Mans, I'm pretty sure, Le Mans has been won in consecutive streaks many times. All these great races, but the Indy 500 has never had a driver win it 3 times in a row.
It's because it's magic.
It's magic, and I don't know. Is that magic going to be like, sorry, Joseph, your time's up? You might be leading on lap 199 and something happens. You know what I mean?
I feel like Roger Penske is giving blood sacrifices right now, making sure the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is happy so Joseph can go for 3.
Right. Oh my God. There's going to be so much pressure on him too. Is he going to be able to handle that? I mean,
yes. Well, it depends on if he gets caught cheating again.
Okay, cheating.
I mean, last year that happened and he was fine.
He was it was good for him last year. Maybe he just needs to bend the rules a little bit at St. Pete every year and get that magic on.
I do remember us talking about it the morning of the 500 last year. Like, well, if Joseph just has some motivation and blah, blah, blah. And then he did. I mean, it's exactly what he needed. And, he's going to be one of those guys at the, at the end. There are guys who are always at the end of that race that there are there. There's Scott Dixon, your Pato Awards, obviously, Joseph Newgarden, maybe, really, I feel like it's those three every year. You can kind of expect them near the front. Marcus Ericsson for a few years, but so it's looking good. But it's the Indy 500. It's so hard to even predict on it. We're in February, so I don't know if anyone in the sport could do it. He's obviously the guy. I mean, and he's definitely not your average driver.
The cool thing about this to me is that if he were to do it, that might be the only time it happens in our lifetimes. There's been an entire over a lifetime that this race has gone on. It's never happened. So if he doesn't do it, we might never see it in our lifetimes happen either. Like it's kind of crazy to think about, but
no pressure,
that makes my heart beat. That I know that just that all of that makes my heart beat. Like, can Joseph take that pressure? Because that's a lot of pressure. They're going to be asking him about that.
But Zach, he's been saying that he started to do better at Indy the last 2 years because he stopped caring, like he cared obviously, but it was just more of like a mentality of like he's not going to ensure he wins it. He's just going to go in there and if we win, we win. It was kind of more of that mentality that he had, and if he maintains that, I mean, what's stopping it?
And he seems to be really enjoying life lately. Like he's been picking up
he's so much
photography.
happier.
And,
look at his social media. He's so much happier.
Writing kids' books.
Writing kids' books and just
he's asking Ronald McDonald for selfies. Like
so funny.
I
love this man.
This could be it, but I don't know. Why do I feel like Joey Logano put a voodoo on that shell scheme though?
No, that was just getting the bad energy out of the way. It's fine.
Okay, sure.
I'll go to I'm probably going to do qualifying this year, not the Indy 500. So I will go and stage the car beforehand just to make sure.
Just to stage the car.
Thank you.
Ma'am, what are you doing? So trust me. You want me to do this.
Don't worry, Roger.
Roger told me to. Roger told me to.
Special permission from Mr. Penske.
I think he would lose his shit.
Oh my God.
So if we were to make a prediction, who do we think will win the Indy 500? It is February 27th as of recording.
Well, I'll go first. So if you watched our NASCAR predictions, I made a bold prediction saying that Kyle Larson was going to win the Indy 500. Now, just so that I can pick I don't want to pick him again for this. I want to pick an IndyCar driver. Also, like, I don't want it to be a bold prediction. I want this to be, someone likely, right? So I'm going to pick an IndyCar driver, not Kyle Larson, but I still believe in my bold prediction. I think I want to pick Pato O'Ward. I think this is finally the year because he is one of those guys that puts himself in position year after year to win this race. And eventually it's going to pay off. It was 1 mile away from paying off last year, but then Joseph locked in. So I think I'm just going to pick him. I mean, in fact, of all the guys that have been that consistent, he has been the most consistent guy up at the front at the end of that race. And since 2020, right? So and it'd be a cool story. Alex, you were telling me before, Pato has experienced the lows, he's missed the 500 before and he's experienced everything except winning it. And it's gotta come someday. I think it's this year.
Wow. I am actually 100% with you on that. He's my pick this year for the 500. I have a good feeling. I don't know why. Maybe it was because I saw him cry last year because he wanted it so bad. I feel like he has the motivation, obviously. He has done everything at the Speedway aside from that. I think he has learned how to put himself in that position and has learned how to not screw it up on his way to the finish. So that's like every year has been a marked improvement, and there's nowhere to go higher than second place other than first. So my heart says my little boy.
He literally has been getting
talking
closer
about this, by the way. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. He literally has been getting closer. He finally made it to the final lap, and almost there.
So, despite my personal desire, I don't think it's likely just because it hasn't happened yet, But if anyone can do it, it's Joseph. But I agree with you guys. I think if it's going to be anyone, it's going to be Pato.
But we all pick Pato.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No pressure, babe.
No pressure, babe.
No pressure.
We're all just not picking Joseph on purpose. Just, we don't. None of us want to be that person.
Here you go, Pato.
Bet.
Here you go. Take all the pressure.
Here's all the pressure.
But for real, I was telling you, Zach, like you mentioned, like if Zach and I are going to be at the Indy 500, and if Pato wins it, I will be really, really hype and excited.
Last year was
Depends
coming down to the final lap last year was like, if I could pick two guys who I want to win this race, it is Joseph Newgarden and Pato O'Ward. And so I'm going to be happy either way here. I'm also going to be really disappointed either way. So it was a mixed bag of emotion.
Alex, don't even give me that. You will be sobbing if Pato beats Joseph. Like if it's a race between them, you will be sobbing. This is your one chance
Joseph
to see a once in a lifetime achievement, and you would have missed it because of your favorite driver.
Jot this prediction down. We'll see what happens in May.
You will be sobbing. I promise you that. I will also be sobbing if it's at the expense of Newgarden or Larson. So.
If that happens, we can hug and cry about it together in the stands. It's fine.
No,
well, the whole crowd is just roaring and cheering. He'll be crying. It's fine.
I'll be waiting in that 3-hour traffic. I'll be happy for him though. You're right. I will be happy for him. But
yeah. And another Patreon comment here. Avery says Pato Ward he's also saying that Pato will finally win it. So
anyone else want to pick Pato? Anyone else? You can leave a comment. Leave a comment if you think Pato O'Ward's going to win the Indy 500. Let's see how many we can get. Legit.
Yes.
I want to see how many we can get. Report back next episode. 67 people think Pato O'Ward's going to win the Indy 500.
Very, very scientific findings.
Yeah.
So God. Kyle Larson is attempting the Indy 500 again with the Coke 600 double. What are our expectations for him? Are they higher than last time? Because he was running 6th before that late speeding penalty. Zach, you did say you boldly predicted him to win it. But
I want you guys to go first because I'm going to save my thing for last. I want you guys to
Elizabeth,
go first.
what do you think?
I think he's going to do better this year. I think it's like he chose properly last year with that rain delay and the fact that like he just needed to get the 500 under his belt. He has done the laps. He's put in the time. He has also screwed it up. So he knows what that is like at this point. I think he's going to finish way higher than we saw him finish last year because he was very quick and very good until he beefed it. So I am excited. I don't know how he's going to do in the Coke 600, but I would like to see him do all of the laps for both races.
Yeah.
Because that in and of itself is rare. If he can be the best finisher of the double thus far as we have seen it happen, I think that is extremely likely for him as well. I hope it doesn't rain this year. I was so annoyed by it last year because it ruined all my fun.
It really ruined the whole thing for literally everybody, and then NASCAR made it about themselves and threw a fit over it.
See, that's the thing that frustrated
Then they have their new rule this year where it's like he'll lose all of his accrued playoff points, from the first,
and then any gained after
12
that.
weeks.
Certified goober behavior.
Hold on. I don't think it is any gained after that, I thought. No. We'd have to look at the rule again. It's not a NASCAR episode. But the way I understood it, I'm
pretty sure they do.
Well, someone on a podcast explained it that like you can then earn more afterwards, but maybe you're right. Well, not. Anyways, it's off topic.
NASCAR's confusing. IndyCar. So,
but do you think? Do y'all think he's going to be practicing pit entry during those 2 weeks?
Yeah.
I do that. I do that on iRacing when I have trouble with it. I'm like, I'm going to practice at pit entry like 5 times just to make sure I get it right. And because there were also little things he improved at throughout the race last year, like restarts. Like he was getting ate up on those restarts in the first half of the race, but then, I mean, well, also there were less restarts, but he ended up, running 6, surviving on the restarts, even making moves on the restarts. So here's my concern. Right now there are 33 teams on what's it called? The entry list, like the provisional entry list for the Indy 500. And what that's kind of making me wonder is, if everyone has a locked in spot, how much time is everyone going to spend on qualifying trim? Everyone might spend more time on race trim, and that might make the field more competitive. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, yes, he's Kyle Larson. Yes, he's really great. He had a great first, showing. But I don't know, man. Nothing is a guarantee, right? I mean, there are a lot of good teams. There are a lot of good drivers. He could end up doing worse.
It's true.
Just for those little micro reasons I mentioned, like maybe everyone's going to focus more on race trim this year. And
do you
it's
think
always
that
evolving.
we will stick with 33 entries, that we won't have any additional ones pop up in the next few weeks?
I was listening to David Land's new podcast, Unverified, and he was discussing, because of this new charter system that's in effect. How did he explain it? It's like, because all the teams, they're comfortable. Why would they add? Why would all the current teams add another entry that could potentially knock one of their entries out? Technically,
that's fair, but there's also Prima could add a third, because they're not. We have Drya Reinbold, who's coming in with 2 cars, so they could do something. Maybe Buddy Lazier will pull his DW12 out of the garage and see what he can do. I would like to see more, but I think that is a very valid point. There's not really anything that they have to do with that. They're pretty set. So
yeah, it's hard to see full get more than 33, but we still got 3 months, so we'll see.
And
I want
I would think
too.
Oh yeah, true.
I would think Ganassi would want to bring one out, because they've dropped 2 cars this year. Run a 4th at Indy, but maybe not.
But yeah.
And now 2 of our Patreon members, Dylan and Phil, want to know who else we would like to see attempt the double.
That's a great question, because I have 2 people that they're not realistic. So Austin Cindric is my first one, which it's not realistic, because I feel like I don't even know if he has any open wheel experience. I know he has road experience, but I don't think he has much open wheel experience. But obviously he has that connection to Penske. But that's kind of the problem, because Roger does not like his drivers doing crossovers, as we've seen. I mean, I don't know what Joseph had to do to just get into the Rolex in the GTP. I still don't know how he was able to do it. So I don't know if, that would ever be allowed for Austin to do, but it would be cool, since he's won the Daytona 500, doing an attempt at the Indy 500. That'd be kind of awesome. Right. And the other side of that coin, Scott McLaughlin, just because, why is he not in a stock car? Come on.
See,
McLaughlin be so cool.
I've got the other version of that, where I'm picking the other guy from Supercars. I'd love to see Shane Van Gisbergen come over and learn how to do open wheel, because I just think I think that'd be really sick. I also think he's looking at Scott and being like, we could revive this rivalry. We could do this. We could have fun.
Dude, a Red Bull IndyCar?
Yeah. It's not like he's struggling for the funding. It could happen. I could see it.
Connor Zilisch in a few years.
Wait.
Sign me up.
Wait.
That I could see, especially if
imagine
he
a
stays with
double.
Trackhouse.
SVG and Connor Zilisch are both doing the double.
That's
the
something
same
Trackhouse
time.
would do.
That
they
is
would totally
crazy.
Do it.
Wait.
Oh my gosh.
That's genius. I think we're onto something here. I'm going to write
Shall they make that the thumbnail, Alex? Connor Zilisch doing the double? Actually, I don't know.
I did just want to add that Austin Cindric was part of the Road to Indy in USF 2000 championship in 2013 and 2014. I'm not seeing how he did, but he did move to the Truck Series shortly after that. But he did do that.
But maybe he
does have open wheel experience.
He has done open wheel. Yeah.
I think he could eat up if he's so good at, I know they're very different, but super speedway racing and NASCAR, I feel like he could manage IndyCar pretty well. So,
yeah.
I just think that'd be
not great. Best finish. He did get a podium, got a second place, but overall 14th. Oh,
Yeah.
And he would have been like 15 or so when he was in that.
Yeah.
So,
And what's interesting, I feel like most of the double kind of potentials have been NASCAR drivers, doing the 500.
yeah.
Any IndyCar drivers that we could want or even expect to like go over
Joseph
into the 600?
Newgarden.
But I don't. Does Joseph? I don't know if Joseph. Here's the thing about Joseph, though. I feel like he cares about the 500 so much, especially like still now.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would want to do that.
So
to
I agree.
himself from-
I don't know if Joseph would actually do the double, but I
And
think
again,
he wants
Roger.
to at least do a cup start.
Oh, definitely, yes.
Yeah.
Like at Bristol, literally at
You
Bristol.
talk about Bristol
but
for years. Yeah.
yes.
I would be going to one of those races if Joseph ever did it.
Yeah.
Dylan, one of our Patreon members, also mentioned McLaughlin and Newgarden, but he also mentioned Kyle Busch. And
Ooh.
Kyle Busch has publicly
good
said he
one.
wants to do it, but is he
Yeah.
running out of time?
He's getting old.
He's going to have to hurry up before they have to wedge him into that open wheel cockpit.
Do you,
Oh my
remember-
god, girl!
I just processed what you said. That's funny. Do you remember a few years ago, Kyle Busch like had something lined up, but then it
Yes.
like didn't. The sponsor didn't like match. the color
Menards and
scheme.
McLaren
It was
were having
McLaren,
a-
right?
And Menards
Yeah.
and McLaren were not agreeing on the
Yeah.
color of the car. So, as petty as it sounds,
It's crazy.
I'd
think
love
it
to
would
see
look
someone
fine.
like Scott Dixon do it. I feel like Scott Dixon could do
Oh,
it.
that'd be cool. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd rather him do that than the Daytona 500. Scott Dixon.
Oh my god,
Correct. Yeah.
Elio, can Elio do the double? Because like screw Daytona,
Yeah.
just run
Yeah.
the 600.
Oh my god.
It'll be more fun and interesting. Like just do it.
That'd be much more hype too.
Yes.
Honestly, screw the Daytona 500. Do the 600. That's the actual probably biggest NASCAR race at this point. So boycott the 500. That's what we need to do. Just the Daytona 500. Boycott the Daytona 500, please.
Well, now we've talked about race wins. We've talked about Indy 500. Who could win that? Now let's talk about the championship.
Ooh.
And I want to talk about who's going to be a
Ooh.
championship contender. We'll kind of go back to thumbs up, thumbs down.
I yawn.
I want to start with, yeah, you're like everyone else. Like, hopefully Fox will do better about that, Zach.
I think we need playoffs. I'm just kidding.
Oh my god.
That'll
So-
make him care.
I want to start with Andretti, all three of them, because
Oh.
I feel like this could go either way. So first things first, Colton Herta. Will
Oh,
he be a championship contender? Like top five. Let's say top five in points.
Yeah, he'll be top 5 in points. Where he was second last year.
Yeah, he was good
By a
last
miracle
year.
of God.
Yeah.
Oh my
He really tried hard not to be there. It feels like every time bad luck
Oh,
happened
yeah.
on the track, it was like on him.
Yeah, I will say that. I mean, he actually had a really good season last year.
Mhm.
I mean, he won 2 races. Like
Very
I mean,
consistent too.
we are,
Which he's
we
never
are
done before.
so back, Colton Herta. We are so back. Like he has finally figured it out. He could be kind of
About
he
time.
could be the guy that goes up in the pecking order. Honestly,
So Kyle Kirkwood's next, and last year I was saying Kirkwood would be better than Herta. We didn't really see that, but do we see him being top 5 in points, contending for a championship?
yeah,
I'm going
I don't know.
no. Based on what we saw last year, no.
he's just kind of
All
there.
three said no.
I
Yeah.
don't know. He's improving. Look, this will be his 3rd or 4th full season in IndyCar.
Yeah. I think the thing
One
to
of
also
those two, yeah.
consider is Andretti being so
Andretti.
Yeah, Andretti being Andretti, but not being run by Michael Andretti anymore. Like,
Yeah,
what the hell
true.
is Dan Taurus going to be able to do with this? If that's who's going to be in charge of the day-to-day stuff, I still don't know what the case is for
Yeah,
that.
there are a lot of-
situation.
Good
There's a lot of
point.
question marks.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
my wonder is like they're dumping a lot of money into the Andretti program, so you would think, but I just don't know if I have confidence in their drivers.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
It's hard to because Marcus Ericsson, he really had a rough season. I don't know why because he showed
was in
speed.
bump day.
I mean,
At Indy.
yeah, but I feel like that was a different situation though. Even like, but I feel like that was a result of his crash, honestly,
Mhm.
like just from practice. But
Yeah.
I mean, what 15th in points? Like,
Yeesh.
bro, I'm sorry. And we saw. I mean, a little bit of his decline at Ganassi, but I mean, I thought that was just because of contract stuff. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
then he shows up to Andretti, and he is the worst guy. Like what? And by a lot.
So,
Like,
and when that was announced, I thought he was going to be like the leader at Andretti because he was kind of leaving Ganassi. He was kind of just a third fiddle there because they had Palou and Dixon, and they didn't really want to give him more money and everything. He goes to Andretti. I'm like, oh, this will be really good. But then he hasn't done much. It's only been 1 year. Maybe that'll change. But thumbs down.
thumbs down. There's no way
as well.
He's got to focus on trying to win a race or something. Like
I think a top 10 is even kind of a challenge for him, let alone a top 5.
That's the thing. That's crazy to me. Like, what is going on?
All these washed Formula One drivers just can't be good at anything.
Apparently. I mean, he was leading the championship in 2022.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
In
what
July.
happened?
Like, whoa.
Bizarre.
He reminds me he's kind of like Alexander Rossi. It's just like he's dropped off a cliff and we're not going to see him again.
Again, it's that Formula One driver fall off.
Yeah. He's got the exact same career path. Actually, wait. That's funny.
We'll see it happen. We'll see it go.
So this next one's interesting because Joseph Newgarden hasn't been spectacular on the road courses the last 2 years, but he's been good on the ovals, obviously the Indy 500. Last year was really bad for the points. Obviously had that points penalty at St. Pete. But even the year before that, the road courses were just not great for Joseph. Will Joseph get a top 5 in points this year? Really could be competing? I'm saying yes. Maybe I'm biased. Am I hopeful? Elizabeth has a slow thumbs up.
Penske power, baby. He's going to be up there.
That's true. Penske's pretty good. I've been hearing a lot of good things about Chevy too. Penske had a really good season last year in terms of just all 3 cars being really fast.
Yeah.
Like they haven't looked that good, I feel like, in previous seasons. Like Will and Scott have been pulling their weight. Well, I mean, not that they weren't pulling their weight before, but like they were doing a lot of work. They picked up the slack that Joseph was leaving. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
So with that said, is Joseph going to be, because he was getting beat at ovals last year. I mean, he won Gateway and Indy, obviously, but like he was getting beat at Franken, Iowa, and he got beat at Milwaukee, and just like I'm just concerned for him because, you know, he gives me the vibe that he is here in May, and then all the other weeks he's kind of just taking photos and hugging his cute little kid, and he almost seems checked out to me some days. I know he's not. I know he's super competitive, but I'm just concerned. I'm very curious to see how he's going to do this weekend at St. Pete.
I think he's so back. I think he's just.
Well, that's what I said last year, but
the thing is, he's has such a different mentality now. He's goofy again. Like the last 2 years, he seemed depressed, kind of.
Because of y'all haters. Y'all were hating on him. It's y'all's fault. But then again, Alex, he won the Indy 500. I'm like, he's so back. He's going to go on a championship run. And then he goes to Detroit and hits everything except the pace car and does like 3 pit stops in like 1 lap. Like, so I don't know. I don't know.
It's the sage that Elizabeth put in his car.
Remember Laguna Seca and he went off-roading?
Oh my God.
Remember that race? Yeah, no. I don't know. He could like legit. If he went winless this year, I wouldn't be shocked.
Whoa.
Wow.
I would be very.
That's a bold prediction.
It's not my bold prediction, but like.
But it is one.
It is.
That is bold.
He only won 2 races last year. Well. Racing reference says he only won 2 races.
3 asterisks. 2 minus 1 or 3 minus 1.
Anyways, so I don't know. We'll see. I kind of want to stop talking about it because it stresses me out.
That's fair. Let's talk about someone else. Scott Dixon's entering his 25th season in IndyCar. That's crazy.
That's as old as I am.
I give him 2 thumbs up. 2 of them. He's unstoppable. Thumbs down.
Zach,
Grandpa, it's time to retire.
Peepaw still got it.
Peepaw. No.
He's still speedy.
No, old man Dixon, he's going to wake up one day and he's going to feel those aches and he's going to be like, man, bro, I can't do this anymore.
He's going to feel the aches and then he's going to fuel save his way into a championship. He's going to show up on the last
that's true.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
With these really boring hybrid races that we might be getting this year, actually, that I don't know. I have a I love predicting when drivers are going to fall off, and I'm really bad at it. Actually, I'm not bad at it. I predicted Kyle Busch's fall off.
Ooh.
I feel like when is it going to happen for Dixon? It's got to happen. Right?
He might be the exception. He might just never.
He's never winning another championship again. There's no way.
Girl, don't bring that energy in here.
The racing gods will not allow it.
Yes, they will.
No, they won't. They might allow it for Lewis if I can convince them hard enough, but they're not letting no.
2025 is going to be the old guy's year. We're going to have Scott Dixon win the IndyCar championship, and we're going to have Lewis win the F1 championship, and then they can both retire and be happy.
And Kyle Busch is going to win the NASCAR championship, sweetheart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or at this point, just Joey Logano again. He's the old guy, I guess.
Yeah.
I would actually love that. I would love a Scott Dixon championship, but I don't know. If I had to, things have to change. Something has to change. And I think Scott Dixon is going to be a part of that change.
Yeah.
Even though I feel like Ganassi is going to have a stronger year, so it's kind of backwards. But I think that's going to come through Palou.
Scott Dixon is inevitable. He's not going anywhere.
I wish he would.
We have
Really,
some
I wish Palou
Patreon. We have some Patreon comments on this topic as well. Dylan says Pato Award will be a championship contender.
Oh yeah.
Is this the year that he wins the 500 and the championship? Like, he's been close at both.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in the hunt for both.
Is there a driver that's better? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
No, I just hope it is his year. Like, I just hope so. And then we can throw Lando Norris in the garbage and put Pato into F1.
Okay, that's fine, actually. Lando is kind of annoying. He's kind of a baby.
He's
oh
a
my
bitch.
God. We need you back on for the F1 episode. We might have one now, because I want to hear you. I want to hear you talk about Lando Norris for an hour. That'd be great.
I have thoughts and opinions on all those little wieners.
Little wieners. I'm gonna call drivers wieners now. You little wieners. Carson Hocefar's a little wiener. Well, he's not little, but anyways.
Yeah.
So, Pato Award. Is there any other drivers? Because we have a good amount of ovals on the schedule again. Like, I feel like Pato Award's the best driver in terms of being the most consistent between road courses, street courses, and ovals.
Yeah, I think he's the most complete package
Yeah.
among
I
all of
think
the
it used to
drivers.
probably, I mean, Dixon, obviously, but at one point in time was probably Joseph. But
Right.
he's mostly the Novel guy now. That's a good
Yeah.
argument. I'd say McLaughlin's getting there. Scott
McLaughlin is definitely getting there. McLaughlin might be,
He's on
and
his
you know
way
what? McLaughlin might be, if it's Pato Award contending for the championship and Palou up there. I mean, this is literally what, three of the top 5 in points. You could be looking at Palou versus McLaughlin versus Award. Those 3 guys to me sound really good, just in terms of just
That'd be a fun
it would.
show.
I mean, those are really, the future stars of IndyCar. I mean, also current stars of IndyCar.
Absolutely.
So, and obviously Alex, but we haven't even talked about Alex Palou yet.
And that's what I was going to mention next.
I think we're just taking it for granted that he's going to be a championship.
Yeah,
contender.
I think that's kind of a given. Another Patreon member, Avery, says Scott McLaughlin and Colton Herta will both be championship contenders as well.
Yeah. Colton Herta makes me nervous, though. But we already kind of talked about him.
Herta could be 10th in points, and I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah,
I
would never bet money on that man. Never bet money on that man. He would fold so quick.
You did mention Palou, Elizabeth, but maybe he'll come up in this next segment, because who is our pick to win the championship this year?
If I can find my sticky note. Oh,
Me.
Oh,
You're
you?
winning it?
Okay. Elizabeth is going to win the championship
Yeah,
this
I'm
year.
gonna.
You guys heard it first. Whose car are you taking? Who you're replacing? Break some news.
Who do I don't like? I'll take the 14.
Fair enough.
The unnamed
Get
driver
Fernando
in the
outta here.
14 car.
Yeah.
The one that's very good at identifying teammates that are boyfriends.
Elizabeth, call his boyfriend teammates real quick.
Hi, boyfriend
Thank you.
teammates.
Okay.
I'm picking in this. Oh, go ahead, Alex. Go ahead. I'll go last.
Okay. Well, I was just going to follow what Elizabeth was saying about Palou. How do you bet against Alex Palou? How do you bet against him? He's just inevitable right now.
Yes.
Yeah, running
So,
at the finish in 16
That's
races
my
last
safe
year.
pick. I'm not being risky on that one.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Zach.
I mean, I wrote down Pillow too.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say though, it could be
Ooh.
like a 2022 where Scott McLaughlin just kind of shows up and goes on streak and beats
McLaughlin,
Pillow.
if McLaughlin didn't have that points penalty at St. Pete, he would have been mathematically in it last year.
That's the thing.
I'm picking him. He is my pick. He's been here just long enough. I feel like he's learned how to do this. He's learned ovals. He's learned the IndyCar way. I think he's like set. I have very high hopes.
I'm very
for him this
impressed
year.
with him, by the way. I mean, I know what this is like fifth. Is
Yes.
this his fifth full year? Yeah, this is his fifth year.
Mhm.
Yeah. I feel so.
Time's flying.
He's been here for
I
so
don't-
long.
Let's stop talking about it. Well, I mean, we've been doing this podcast. We've also been doing this podcast for 5 years. Jesus
That's
Christ! Yeah, we gotta
nuts.
stop talking about that.
So excited.
He is really adapted to an open wheel car well. Like, when I've done
Mhm.
again, when I drive stuff in iRacing, I'm like, oh my god, these cars are so different, whether how realistic they are or not. I mean, just being at the top of your game in supercars and going to IndyCar and I mean, he's finishing third in the championship. I mean, he's kind of at the top of his game there. Like, that is super impressive.
It's super impressive. Like seeing, because I used to watch supercars when I was in college, young enough to stay up all night. And it was always such a pleasure to watch him drive there because oh my God, he was just so good. And so when the news came that he was going to IndyCar, I freaked out and I was like, he's not going to be good. Like he's going to be good, but he's not going to be good. The first season, a learning curve.
Normal.
But then he got it. He fucking got it. And I was like, all right. All my chips in your bag, son. Let's do this.
This is kind of off topic, but I thought Tom Blomqvist was going to be really good in IndyCar too, and that just did not go anywhere.
Well, if they gave him a whole season, maybe. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was rough.
I get it,
though.
but I don't. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm glad Scott's in IndyCar.
They threw him away like yesterday's lunch.
Does anyone want to predict any contract drama for the season? I don't know.
I don't know who's in contract years.
Well, McLaren doesn't care about that. I mean, they'll just, they'll throw anybody out.
Well, yeah,
they'll throw anybody
true.
out. And even
Christian Lundgaard, he's going to be out of here race 6. No, not 6. He's going to last the 500. And by Detroit, he's going to be
we
out.
got some stuff in the T coming later about,
Yeah.
more contract stuff. Messy. It's got to be
Well,
messy.
I guess we can go into our bold predictions because what you just said has to deal with mine, Zach. My bold prediction. Because I actually think this is my bold prediction that McLaren will actually stick with the same driver lineup for a full season. It's bold. It's bold.
I haven't.
That is very bold. History has not been kind to that one.
Has that actually ever happened? Because I'm like, well, there's
think
one
so.
year because it's either injuries or just there's been so many injuries.
Oliver
It's the
Aske's
damn 6 car.
concussion.
Not
Isn't
Nolan.
it the 6 car?
It is.
What happened to the 7
the
car?
curse.
One.
Yeah, with
So-
Askew.
One time.
That's really funny. That must be your funny prediction. I want to know what your serious prediction would have been, but it's not important.
Yeah, I told Zach I had a funny and a serious one.
And you went with the funny one.
Ooh.
Maybe it is serious. I don't know. Am I next?
Yeah.
I had a lot of trouble because I didn't want to be like Kyle Larson will win the 500.
Blanket
I thought about
predictions.
saying Joseph ain't gonna win a race, but no, he'll pull one out. So Scott Dixon, I mentioned, I think he's gonna be kind of washed this year. I have not mentioned Will Power yet at all. I think Elizabeth, you look so offended, and I haven't even said it yet.
No, I just
Listen,
love Will Power.
I think our two, I don't know what you call them, our two elder statesmen of the IndyCar
Seasoned
series. I think they're
veterans,
finally they're gonna have winless seasons together. Winless.
They almost
seasons
did.
Together.
They
Not
almost just
Will.
did too, right?
But Will Power just signed with Fernando Alonso's management company. He's got to be so back.
They won a total of 5 races last year, which I mean, I look like an idiot saying that they're not going to win at all, but I don't know. It's bold. It's bold.
It is bold.
So or at least one of them. If one of them goes winless, I'll consider it a half victory. If one of them goes winless, which you know, we'll
Wow.
see.
I hope not. My bold prediction is that this is Graham Rahal's final year.
That's a good one.
I like that.
Everyone liked that. Alex said, "I like that."
We hope.
I would like to see it.
I would like to see it.
I like it.
I would
Yeah.
like to see it.
God, that team's gonna. Is that team gonna shut down? Like what? Like what?
No, I think Graham's going to take it
makes sense.
over.
Mm.
I think he's going to take over
Yeah, that
Bobby's
makes
role. Bobby's still going to be there because I don't think Bobby can not
Right.
be there. But I don't think either that or Graham's going to go into his little motorbike thing, his little dalliance that he's got going on over there. So I think
Graham
he's out.
Rahal gives me so much Austin Dillon energy, where it's just like, just go take over the team already. Stop wasting time driving the car. Just
No,
go.
literally.
He gives me so much Austin Dillon energy, man.
Yeah, it was so okay. So the one year that I went to the 500, I went with Firestone, and Firestone it's more of just like a fun trip, not a work trip. And so they bring you to this gala dinner where all of the drivers will pop up at one point, and you can get everyone's autograph. And I was like, I'm gonna do it because I'm a little wiener, and I want to have I love IndyCar.
That's word
even
of
though
the
I'm a
week.
journalist. So I went up to get Graham Rahal's, and Graham Rahal looked at me and he goes, "You're that girl who writes for Jalopnik, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yup." And he was like, And then signed my thing and was not pleased. But that was also because our social media person made fun of him one time. Like he tweeted something and they shot back like, "You're only there because your dad's money." And I was like, from the official account, bro. Like from
That
the
is
official
crazy.
account.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
man.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And I was like, I earned that. Thank you.
So now you're just manifesting. I love it.
I
Hell
mean,
yeah. Someone.
He hated on me once. I'm going to hate on him for the rest of my life.
I love it.
That's right.
All right. Let's get into the tea now.
Ooh,
And-
IndyCar off-season tea.
We got some tea.
Is it gonna taste
First-
sour?
Oh, it might. Maybe a little bit.
I don't know. The tea for IndyCar's been tasting not good lately.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm looking at it. There's not much good news here.
Well, I can't
It's a
say I'm
little
surprised.
Yeah.
And
So-
yeah, let's start us off, Alex.
Linus Lundqvist was left without a ride. Posted earlier this week that Ganassi didn't end his contract until January, a month ago, which
Yikes.
that's crazy to me. And I have a question. Did this prevent Lundqvist from being able to talk
Yeah.
to other teams?
It absolutely must
It must have, right?
What
Because
did he
I
think
think
was going to
he's-
happen?
Of the 7 months of off season that they have, he spent 6 of them unable
That's
to do
sad.
anything. So I feel like the teams would have wanted to have their driver kind of in the mix already. And if he couldn't do that, that
Lundqvist
sucks.
to me was the best available driver. I think he was a better option than Rossi. Like if I was Carpenter, I would have wanted Lundqvist first. If I was Schenk, I would have wanted Lundqvist first.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree with that.
I
100%.
understand why Kiffin Simpson's at Ganassi, but Lundqvist should have stayed over Simpson too, right?
Yeah, we
There's
all
a-
understand why
there's
Simpson's there.
There's a lot of drivers, I think. I mean, look at the 30 car, right? Ray Hall, DiFrancesco. That could have been a Lundqvist ride. It's so frustrating. Linus Lundqvist got a podium. He led some laps last year.
Rookie of the year.
I think it's
Just
insulting.
threw him away.
It's insulting he didn't get a ride, but if it's because of this, like flop of the week to Chip Ganassi, like what the hell?
Yeah,
That's
it's
crazy.
Yeah.
State of modern racing, right? Just money talks. Sad, and I don't know what could ever be done about it because it's. I feel like we don't see that at NASCAR at the Cup level. I feel like if Cup drivers that are established, they get rides. I feel like most of the time.
But I think there's so many rides
That's
for them
true.
to get
Yeah.
that I think it makes it a little bit easier because they know that they can fall
That's
back
true.
somewhere. They've got 10 other
Yes,
open
that's
seats.
true.
IndyCar does have quite a few
Not as
seats, but
many.
not Especially not with the
Yes.
charters now. They
So,
don't. I don't think they're going to have enough.
Charters are kind of to blame for this. I mean, Ganassi would have probably just kept their 4 or 5 cars.
Oh, absolutely.
True.
And just been whatever.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, and that's probably, honestly, that's probably why they kind of put Linus in that really awkward situation. But it's sad that, again, I mean, what were they going to try to do with him? Like,
I think it was just maliciously holding on to him so that he couldn't go anywhere else. Like, if you look at him and you know he's a good driver, and you know that if he gave him a couple more years, he would be really great. If you make sure that he can't be great somewhere else, then
like,
I hate that.
I don't know, you make it a little easier.
Like,
for
I'm
your
going to
guys.
hold until Scott Dixon retires. Like, if you want to make him do IndyCar teams even have reserve drivers? Like, do they even really need them?
I think one team. I think Ray Hall
Isn't Grosjean a reserve driver for someone?
I don't.
Is he off the grid?
Yeah.
Thank God.
He is.
We're safe. We're so safe.
That's one less caution, right?
One less caution.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sorry to Linus Lundqvist. I think he deserved better.
Yeah.
And now,
He did.
so this is we've talked so much about Fox Sports on this podcast. We're gonna do it again. Fox Sports. That's the big T from the off season or middle of last season. They're coming in. They're gonna be doing all the races on Big Fox with Will Buxton as the lead commentator, with James Hinchcliffe, Townsend Bell coming over from NBC. My question is, and why I put it in the T, it's because we're doing a predictions episode, right? How many people are going to watch St. Pete this weekend?
How many people
That's the
watched
thing.
it last
How do
year?
I don't know what the scale is.
It was
at least 10 people will watch it. 3 of them are on this stream. I don't know.
Last year, St. Pete got 974,000.
And that was on what?
NBC.
USA or ABC?
NBC.
NBC. Yep.
NBC.
On big
So
NBC? Good.
I
Yeah,
think.
it had less than 1 million.
Well,
I think we're gonna get 1
it is a
1.2.
lead into NASCAR. So
NASCAR at COTA.
1.2 is kind of what I was leaning towards too. I mean, I don't know. I don't really care.
Only 2 races got over 1 million last year, and Mid Ohio had 1.2, and the Indy 500 had 5 million. That's bad. So
Nikes, fellas, what are we doing?
Yeah.
you think 1.2? I
think 1.2. I think that's a reasonable number of people to expect
Yeah.
who saw the
That's
cool
true.
commercials and said, I'll
Yeah,
tune in."
NASCAR lead in, and I mean, everyone wants to see what this Fox coverage looks like too. Like people that are NASCAR fans that don't even care about IndyCar, but like
jelly.
Fox is covering IndyCar, and that too.
They might hate watch it.
They might hate watch it. So you know what? Because of that, I'm going to say
Hope so.
1.4 million. I'm going
Ooh.
bold.
the number I've been
1.4.
thinking of is 1.5. But then I saw those I just Price is Right you, Zach. I was just looking
know,
at
I'm all
those
screwed.
numbers and I was like, oh, maybe I'm going too high. But they had ads in the Super Bowl. They were promoting like crazy. You're going to get the NASCAR audience to lead in. It might be that, and that might be the second highest of the year after the Indy 500. I think after that, 1.2 seems reasonable.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good prediction. Like, people tune into Mid Ohio because they wanted to see the hybrids.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to tune into this to see what the Fox coverage
People
is
are
like.
going to be talking about Fox too on social media. Like it's going to get a lot of discussion over the weekend on social media, good or bad, or both. Yep. So, speaking of, so what? Well, we've talked about Will Buxton being confirmed before. Have we on the podcast? I don't remember.
I'm not sure if we have on the podcast or not. We've talked about it a lot amongst our.
Oh, was that revealed? Was that revealed like late in the season? Like,
it was,
or even like
it was recently.
A couple weeks ago.
I don't think we've talked about it. Yeah. But what's your opinion on him, or both of y'all? Like, it just because he's never done play-by-play before, so I'm just like.
So what I said last night on ATYL Live, we did a live show over there. I said that I understand this choice because it really branches out and brings in a new kind of audience from the F1 people. And I think the reason they didn't go with Alan Bestwick is because that would not have brought in a newer audience at all. Like a crowd that exists would have been so pumped and excited, but Alan Bestwick would not have brought in new people. Maybe some NASCAR people, but not a wider audience. So Will Buxton is
like
that kind of
trying to grab the Formula One people.
Yeah.
That's just a weird thing, though, because it's like, why are you trying to be Formula One? Like, I understand what you're saying, Alex. It's just like,
Zach, did you see the post that was like, Fox thinks they just got F1? So they
yes,
Will Buxton?
Fox thought they just got F1, so they found someone from F1 to go cover it. Be like, well, this is basically F1. This guy's probably going to be an expert on it. Yeah, sure.
Well, Will Buxton, in his defense, when NBC had F1 as well as IndyCar, he got to do a couple little crossovers. He loves IndyCar.
I believe that he does.
So he'd come over every so often. He'd do pit lane reporting. He did it in Detroit a couple times, and apparently actively keeps up with the series. So I am confident that he will have some level of knowledge, which will be good.
Yeah,
I think the play-by-play thing is the biggest
Mark.
concern for me. Like that's putting him not just in a new environment series-wise, but in a whole new role within the commentary booth. So I am interested. I think with James Hinchcliffe alongside him, those two work well together. So I think they've probably liaised beforehand and have gotten kind of used to what the expectations are. I'm interested. Trying to attract the F1 audience, I think, is always going to be a losing game because it's not F1.
No.
It's IndyCar. But I don't know, maybe there are the creeps like me out there who saw F1 and went, that's too fancy.
True.
Where's something where I can sleep in a bush and pay $50 and watch a race?
I do like how it is something fresh. Like, it's nothing anyone expected.
Yeah.
It's not your Alan Bestwick. It's not your Kevin Lee. It's someone
I expected
new.
Jamie Little and Connor Daly. So
that would have been the case. I would have thrown out.
That's what I expected for months.
I don't think I would have watched IndyCar this year. I'd be like, Alex, we're not doing an IndyCar episode. Get real. Like, I'm not. No, this is a NASCAR. This is a NASCAR Ninja podcast. Like, let's.
Oh man.
Yeah, we'll see.
We have a couple more sips of tea for you. This is not a good one, so fair warning. Honda is still trying to decide what they're going to do with IndyCar post the 2026 season, because there are rumors that they might be going to NASCAR. That's kind of been picking up. And these are from Marshall Pruitt at Racer. There's been reports out there that Honda's thinking about leaving IndyCar.
Yeah.
I would like to offer a counter question. Yeah. When was the last time Honda was happy in IndyCar? Because every year they've said, I don't know if we're going to stick around in IndyCar. And last year they said the same thing. And the year before they said the same thing. And the year before that they said the same thing. And they've said it with F1 where they pulled out and went back in and then pulled out again and then came back with Aston Martin. So I mean, IndyCar is low on the totem pole, so if they were going to get rid of something, I think it would be that. But I also feel like they've got just so much investment in it. I don't know if they would want to give it up.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way because, yeah, you're right. They are kind of wishy-washy. They're like, yeah, I'm going to leave. Girl, you ain't leaving. Come back.
Honda's never been happy.
Get back in this door.
Ever in anything. It's always been upset. There's always been something it can change. And I respect that because that's how you get shit done. Mm-hmm. It's how you get the hybrids, as you say you're going to leave because you built the damn thing and they're not putting it in the car.
Gaslight IndyCar into getting what they want. All right, I'm leaving.
Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. Let's go.
Roger answers the phone. Is like, what do you want now? Oh my God.
Yeah, Roger looks at his phone like, not them again, girl.
He has to, I don't know. Just for the good of the series, I think there has to be a second manufacturer because Roger Penske cannot own Ilmor, which owns Chevrolet, as well as a team, as well as a speedway, as well as a series. Weird. I guess he could do that
at this point.
But also,
well, what is one more little thing?
Business wise, I don't think that would make any sense for him because there's no competition. I feel like he's got to be a free market guy. He's got to like the competition because he knows he's going to crush them.
And that's the thing with IndyCar. It's like, what is the appeal for, because if Honda does leave, who else would come in? because it's so hard for me.
Like,
There's kind of no appeal because it's a spec. It's just this spec open wheel car,
Buick.
and it's
Buick.
just a power plant for a series that has an identity crisis. To be
Yeah.
frank, I mean,
Yeah. We're reviving
Right.
Oldsmobile. We're putting Offenhauser engines back in the front.
Listen, I would love Ford to come into IndyCar. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Sick.
That'd be
Like
so cool.
another American
We get the
brand,
big
but
three.
they're busy with developing a LMDH car, so that's they're busy.
An IndyCar is like $16 and a paperclip. You can just tuck that
but
on there. It's not that big.
I
of a
don't-
deal. Come on.
I don't know.
It's only 17 races. Come on, Ford.
I've been hearing so many things.
Yeah, I
just
know.
like there's no reason for manufacturers to want to come in. Sports car racing, specifically GTP, again, even NASCAR. It's just like IndyCar is just weird child in the middle that's just like doesn't even know what it is. I can understand.
Yeah, I think you look at F1 and how F1 is growing with the number of manufacturers that have signed on there, and you look at endurance racing and the number and diversity of manufacturers there, and you look at NASCAR where there's interest from Dodge coming in, potential interest from Honda and Toyota, or Toyota's already, but potential interest from Honda. Like you just
There's no
I don't there's no selling feature.
the manufacturer economy, I guess I'm trying to call it. Like there's no one left to come in because I think everyone's already spending enough money.
Only someone who's not going to do it well. It's going to be like another Lotus situation where they like come in, we got 2 cars, and it's bad news bears for everyone.
So there are people that are hoping, Elizabeth, that you're right, that they're just saying that they're going to leave because they just they always say that.
I hope so.
There's people that are kind of scared in terms of for this series.
I think they have a
they should be.
like
I mean,
we're at a weird place with IndyCar, so I completely understand why this would, especially because there's a contract now, whereas in the past it was just breaking one. So
this is definitely a make or break season for IndyCar. The new TV partner, it's kind of risky, but it's a huge win at the same time. You have the manufacturer deal expiring in 26. Like there's a lot weighing on this season because when if Honda negotiates with IndyCar about coming back, they're gonna be looking at this season probably, right? A lot of it. So I feel lots weighing on it, and a lot of that's going to come down to Doug Bowles, who has been named the president of IndyCar. He also remains president of IMS. He's replacing Jay Fry. The controversial CEO Mark Miles is still in place at IndyCar. Doug Bowles, I do like this move, but I do wonder how he's going to handle a lot of negative publicity now, because he's never really had that doing just IMS.
He's also the project lead for the mysterious 2028 new IndyCar formula, apparently. Like they assigned him as the project lead because they didn't have a project lead for the project.
Of course, yeah.
This is the thing, and I hate seeing when you like get rid of people and then you just make one person do the jobs of all of the people you've gotten rid of, or you just invent new things for them to do. I don't see how Doug Bowles wins in this situation. Like Alex, like you said, like the negative publicity I think is going to be a big part of it. Mark Miles is still there and he's still the guy that Doug Bowles has to answer to. So there's not really a change in the hierarchy in terms of who's actually making decisions and saying things about Pato O'Ward not being good enough and not having billboards. It's tough because I like Doug Bowles. I think he's a great person. I think he's a great advocate for IndyCar. And I think if there was not a Mark Miles in his way, this would be fabulous. But because there still is, I don't know. And I don't know if you followed it on Racer, but the rumors that Jay Fry was like ousted and like forced out because he was, I think, disagreeing with Penske management. And so like there's like kind of a negative vibe with that going on top of everything.
That's not good. There's there's a dark cloud.
Bad news bears.
I think the one good thing here though is that IMS and IndyCar, that maybe they'll be treated more of as a single entity rather than 2 separate ones. I think that could be a good thing, because a lot of times I feel like IMS says one thing and then IndyCar says another, and they're like not on the same page at all. So that could be good. And I think Doug Bowles has been fantastic for IMS, but again, it's just he's never really faced bad publicity before. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And
I think before we move on, I think in general, Alex, you called this a make or break year for IndyCar. I think 2024 put a lot of cracks in IndyCar and maybe even broke IndyCar a little bit, just from, the whole Penske cheating thing. And then the contract stuff was embarrassing, and the hybrid failure, I would call it. Like, why
the hybrid,
that was kind of weird. And what's going on with
thermal club drama was weird.
Thermal club, like, oh my god, there's so much stuff. There's so many cracks. Maybe it's in pieces. So are they picking up the pieces? Are they throwing the pieces away and reinventing IndyCar? Like those are my questions. Not just for this year, just kind of moving forward. Like, is IndyCar going to be reinvented, or is IndyCar going to just be put back together and we'll just keep going with kind of what the status quo is in terms of, this is a spec series with, manufacturers providing engines, or could this be something completely different? And because part of me kind of wants to see a lot of stuff to change with IndyCar. I think it could use a radical, majority, whatever it is, majority ovals, manufacturers develop a chassis, whatever you want to call it. Maybe that's what IndyCar needs.
Can I pitch something positively cursed?
Yes.
IndyCar has a bad year. The cracks that have formed have gotten worse, and Liberty Media steps in. Liberty Media has been scooping up assets.
What have they been working on? I haven't been paying attention.
MotoGP they got, and there's a whole European Union lawsuit about whether or not that constitutes as having a monopoly over motorsport. But I could certainly see Liberty Media having a resounding interest in at least the 500. And perhaps Roger will give them the same deal that he was given, which is if you buy the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, you have to take IndyCar too.
Right.
Oh, what does that mean?
Because Liberty was the other interested buyer, right?
Why would they care about? Why would they even?
They could turn that into their own little feeder championship.
Yeah.
Because we don't have really a ladder into the Formula
United
1
States
world
doesn't.
that isn't European.
That's true.
Yeah. We have USF 4, but that barely counts.
I mean, it's at 4.
So, yeah, I could see them trying to do a reinvention of this as something like that. I don't think I would like it.
That would go a direction I don't want to go, because it would still probably be spec cars and then less ovals.
Right.
Probably. I mean, and then the Indy 500. I mean, I don't even know. That doesn't sound.
Or do we end up in a place where the Indy 500 is the only race?
Yeah, because the series is kind of, I don't know. It's
the series that's the problem. Like the Indy 500 is fine.
She's fine.
And the Indy 500, I feel like, is in a golden age almost. Kind of.
Yes.
Maybe not as much as stuff like Le Mans, but it's been having great races the past few years, right? Great moments. Qualifying's even been great when we get more than 33 cars. It's just the series is just, again, the series doesn't know what it wants to be. So
this is the problem that IndyCar has had since fucking day one. And they have not figured it out. It blows my mind that Roger Penske was involved in not one, but 2 splits of this series and still is not quite clear on what he wants.
Ridiculous.
But it's also kind of the beauty of IndyCar too. We love the diversity and just, it's this hodgepodge of motorsports in the best and worst ways.
It's nice.
Yeah. And not to continue the bad news, but
bring it on. Why
I
stop
want to
now?
talk about this. I want to talk about this as well, because Hy-Vee is no longer going to sponsor Iowa or Milwaukee. There's going to be no Iowa concerts this year. And speak of losing ovals, are we going to lose Iowa? Because Milwaukee has a sponsorship from Snap-on. That's a Penske sponsor. But Iowa, that's been heavily funded by Hy-Vee, and that will not be there.
That event, so no more concerts, obviously, and then they definitely don't need the doubleheader anymore. I don't think they even need that in general. And I mean the racing. Do you think Hy-Vee? I heard Hy-Vee has a new CEO. I don't think the racing at Iowa last year has anything to do with Hy-Vee pulling out, but it does make me wonder because obviously the racing was terrible, and it's definitely not going to help Iowa's case. If they actually repave the entire track, maybe we'll be in for something better. But I am a little bit worried about Iowa. It makes me feel a little bit better that NASCAR's there now because it's
At least we're not going to lose the track entirely.
The track is being supported at least with something, so it's like they can stay alive and still have IndyCar races. So I think if I had to say, I think Iowa will stay on the schedule. I just think that doubleheader is probably not staying.
I don't think they have a doubleheader there this year. The doubleheader is now Milwaukee.
No, it's still Iowa, and Milwaukee still won.
Milwaukee was a doubleheader last year. I think.
I thought it.
I remember. I
I
heard David Land saying that he wishes Milwaukee was the doubleheader instead of Iowa this year. But
yeah, last year they were both a doubleheader.
Yeah, that is Iowa.
I mean,
excuse me.
That's the better
idea. I knew
idea.
there was one that wasn't.
So it is the better idea because Milwaukee. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's a very historic IndyCar track. So yeah, I'm kind of over doubleheaders in general, though. I don't really care.
Yeah. It'd be nice if maybe, let's end this on a good note, maybe we'll get a speedway to replace one of the Iowa races in 26.
It's my biggest pet peeve.
Yay? That'd be cool, right?
I mean, is it time for my 3 wishes for IndyCar? Why not?
Perfect segue. Okay. 3 wishes, Zach. Go for it.
They're all probably just going to be tracks. Richmond, so I can go to an IndyCar oval race that without having to drive 10 hours or get on a plane. Give me 2 more speedways. Oh, those are my 2 wishes? I don't even care. Listen, it bugs the heck out of me that we run the Speedway Aero package at exactly 1 race. And it's our biggest race. And it's our entire series identity. All the promo merch, well, maybe not all of it, but like all the diecasts are in the oval package, the oval Speedway package. And you only see it once a year. That bugs me. We should be at Texas. We should go to Homestead. We should go to, this isn't a speedway, but New Hampshire. Honestly, we should go back to Pocono. I don't want to hear it. 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 Oh, my Pocono. Me. I don't care. Go to Pocono. That's my 3 wishes.
Oh,
Pocono turn 1, Pocono turn 2, and Pocono turn 3. There we go. Those are my 3 wishes. Just kidding. Richmond, Pocono, Texas. Why not? I don't care.
And if you want to watch Elizabeth and I make 4 wishes, we did that on the ATYL Media channel. Reminder of that. Check that out. That was so much fun, Elizabeth. Oh my gosh.
It was a lot of fun. I love wishing about IndyCar.
And now let's move into fantasy. IndyCar is at St. Pete in a matter of days. Zach, you won our fantasy championship last year.
Thank God. I ate you up.
You got destroyed the year prior. I think I had locked up by Gateway.
Of course you're bringing that up.
I'm just saying.
Of course you're bringing that up.
I mean, let's not get too cocky here, Zach. I won by a larger margin.
I'm sorry. Who won the most recent championship? Because that's what matters.
It was you.
Oh my! Like, why would you? Oh, but I won the year before. Obviously, girl, we all knew that. And then I came back mentally destroyed, and I came back and I destroyed you. So I don't see what's relevant about that. All right, so make your pick, sassy pants. You wiener. Alex has been a wiener today.
If you stop talking, I can make my pick.
No, okay.
I'm going with Joseph Newgarden. He's going to get redemption from last year. And this time he ain't gonna cheat.
Pressing that button. He's pressing that button, man.
I was like, what are you doing? You're pressing the controller.
Got you. Button ASMR. I'm Joseph Newgarden, and I'm pressing my push to pass button illegally. I'm going delusional. I'm getting tired. All right, I'm picking Scott McLaughlin because he's good at St. Pete, dude. Didn't he? He won there in 2022, right? I
believe it was 22.
Then he
was 22 or 23. Yeah,
he was going to win there in 2023 until Grosjean committed terrorism, and then he cheated his way to a podium, I believe, last year. So, yeah, he's great.
Elizabeth, who do you got? It can be Joseph or Scott too.
I think it's gonna be Colton Herta. Actually,
that was gonna be my 3rd pick. That's crazy.
He's got to not crash first.
He's got to get through to the end, but I think he's got it.
It's a good pick, though, for real.
Yeah.
I like that.
That was going to be, I mean, I don't know why I had a third pick, but I just had him up. I was considering him.
Who's your second pick?
Well, so Joseph was my first pick.
Oh, got it.
Scotty's my second pick.
Gotcha.
And then Colton was my third pick. So I knew Alex was going to pick Joseph. So
see, this is why we don't pick at the same time anymore.
Yeah, it was
because
getting stupid.
we would have matched like 5 times. You just said like the same picks I would have made.
It's like when it's like in racing when the regulations stay the same and all the teams just start just like doing really stupid things to gain an advantage. Like that's what it kind of felt like. So we changed the regulations.
Yes,
and because again the rule is whoever does not have the points lead gets to pick first. So it should keep it technically somewhat close, especially for IndyCar, because a lot of races are like, like, oh, we're going to well, not anymore, but we're going to Iowa. Well, girl, I want Joseph. So we'll see.
Yep. So thank you so much, Elizabeth, for joining us.
Thank you for
where
having me.
Where can people find you online?
Oh my goodness, everywhere. Blue Sky mainly. I am Liz A. Blackstock on Blue Sky, all one word. I believe it is the exact same username on Instagram. And Eliz_Blackstock on Twitter, which I don't really use anymore. I also have Deadly Passions, Terrible Joys, my podcast. If you go to deadlypassionsterriblejoys.com, it'll pull to all of the places you can find me because I have a different username for that for everything I use for some reason. Do that. Come join me and Ash Vandalay on Tuesdays on Twitch on Ash's YouTube channel. Or not her YouTube channel. Also on her YouTube channel, on her Twitch channel as well. That's about all from me.
If you enjoyed the Lando Norris hits earlier, definitely check out the Twitch show with Ash Vandalay.
Yes, there is so much shitting on Lando Norris the whole time. It's beautiful. Every Tuesday.
I listen when I'm at work sometimes. I just start laughing. I'm just like, oh, I agree. And before we wrap up, Zach, I want to mention one of our Patreon people, Phil, said that he boldly predicts that he's going to pay more attention to IndyCar this year by keeping
that is a bold prediction.
Conversations on the podcast. So that's cool.
Phil.
That's bold that you're going to pick this year to start paying attention. After all the crap we just talked in the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's a good
series. It really, especially
I love her.
NASCAR has had a hell of a start to the season. 2 super speedways, and now we're gonna have a road course this weekend. Good, and then Phoenix. Good God. Yeah. I'm gonna be begging for any other kind of racing. So yeah, I am kind of excited for St. Pete this weekend. I don't know why our at names are not showing up on the thing because they normally do.
Oh,
because if you wanted to go follow Elizabeth, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out why, but
weird.
Anyways,
but yeah. If you want to join in on the Patreon discussion that we had throughout the episode, that's at patreon.com/gayracingpod. It also helps support us. We really appreciate that. We have a kind comment from Nike Visor 54. Yet another banger episode. This is about our Atlanta episode. Always look forward to having Brooke on to yap with y'all. And keep on keeping on. Please never apologize for your crushes, Zach. Do you know what that's about?
I have no idea. I didn't talk about anybody in any kind of way. During the Atlanta
that's talking
episode.
About your gushing over Carson Hocevar.
Oh yeah, I might have said that. I wanted him to take me out to dinner. Yeah,
you did do that.
As long as he's paying.
Maybe that he better pay. Good Lord.
And got
that second place money.
You can rate us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or read the written 5-star reviews, like and subscribe on YouTube. Socials. I'm primarily on Blue Sky at Newgaden. The pod is at Gay Racing Pod on Blue Sky, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Zach is at Dreamy Zach Racing on Twitter and Blue Sky.
And again, subscribe. Yeah, and again, subscribe so you don't miss our St. Pete race review, as long as our NASCAR at COTA race review, where we're gonna, talk about that new layout. I have a lot to say about the new layout, but I haven't seen the race yet, so we'll see what it's like.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. Thank you, Elizabeth, for joining us so much. It's always such a pleasure to have you on.
Nowhere else I'd rather be.
I know, right? I hope everything goes well with Planet F1. Start of the F1 season's coming up soon. Appreciate you guys so much for listening today. We will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.